Hello viewers, my name is Shay and this is Shay Develops. Today we're going to be using Emmet to create a website, basically just the HTML of a website, a lot quicker than you would normally do if you were just writing stuff out by hand. Emmet is basically just a tool that comes pre-installed on Visual Studio Code if you have that. If you don't have Visual Studio Code, if you have like Sublime or Atom or stuff like that, there's plugins that you can get that allow you to have this functionality and put it on there as well. But it allows you just to write some, basically just a little bit and in like this formula type syntax, and then give you an output HTML code as you want. So the first little bit that I found super useful is the exclamation point and then hit tab, and you'll see that on this left hand side here. Let me make this a little bigger. There we go, get rid of that. You can see that I've got the doc type, HTML tags, the head tags, and body tags all ready to go. The Emmet tutorial. All right. Now here's where we can start really creating sites fast. So say we want a any type of HTML tag, like a paragraph tag. You'll see sometimes it says like doc type and stuff. If that pops up, I usually hit escape out of that and go on and see I've created a paragraph tag. Right, pretty simple. If I want a div, just type in div tab. Got my div, and that's pretty. Just creates a starting and ending HTML element there, which is not that great. I make sure that saves you a little bit of time, but that's just the very tip of the iceberg with Emmet. You can then create stuff within your other elements. You can create children of your elements. So if I wanted a paragraph tag within my div tag, I can just do div -p, and then boom, I have a div element with a paragraph tag child within there. You can also create classes. So if I wanted to, just like you would do on like a CSS, you would start it out. If you wanted to create a CSS class within your CSS file, you would start it out with a dot. It's the same way you would use with Emmet. So if I wanted to create a class called text, that's a really bad one, but whatever. I can do .text and hit tab, and now I've created a div with the class of text right away. You can string that multiple times. So if I wanted text and then another, and then even another, boom, it now created a div class with, or a div with all three classes in my div there. So I don't have to type all that out all at one go. And then if you wanted to, you can also create siblings. That means it'll put them kind of on the same level, so one won't be a child of another. You can do that with the plus tag or plus sign. So I'll do a div with a paragraph and a block quote. Hit tab, and boom, I have a div, I have a paragraph, and I have a block quote. And you notice how I hit tab after every single one of these, and instead of doing like that, it went through the different elements. That's just Emmet trying to go to what it thinks is important and create these next in line tab structures. All right, so let's go ahead and back on out of that. And actually, let's do create a, we'll call this single element we can do stuff like div paragraph block quote. Go ahead and comment that out as well. And then you can climb up and down the structure as well. So if I wanted a div, and then I wanted another div, and then within that I wanted a paragraph tag, and then a span, and then after that I wanted an EM tag, but then I wanted a block quote up a level, because I was like, oh man, I wanted it to put it like within this div rather than within this div. I can do that, and then boom, puts it in there. Now I didn't mean I actually said it would put it in this div, but it puts it in this div, which is acting as normal. It was going to go within this paragraph tag, and I didn't want that. I wanted it, or I didn't want it within the paragraph tag. I wanted it within the div. So you see how it really creates a lot of code just by a few characters. So again, let's do that again. So we got the div, and then this will be the sibling. So we're going to create another div just after it. And then within the sibling, we're going to create a child, so it'll be our paragraph. And then within that paragraph, create another child, which would be our span. And then not within the span, but still within the paragraph, the second paragraph, or the first paragraph, we're going to create an EM tag that just emphasizes. And then we want to come out of the paragraph and create a block quote tag within the div. And then we're going to do is hit tab. Boom. See, we created our two divs, our paragraph, our span, emphasis, closing paragraph, and then our block quote closing div. So we can go ahead and erase this one right here. Go ahead and comment that out so you guys can see it. All right. Next, we can also group tags together. So I create a div, and then within that div, I want a header, and the grouping is symbolized by the parentheses, opening and closing parentheses. And then within the header, I want an unordered list with a list items, and then something we haven't talked about too is multiplication. Though I use the multiplication symbol, and then I want 2. So what that is going to do is within our div, we're going to have not a sibling, but a child of the header. And then within the header, we're going to have the child of the header is going to be unordered list. And then obviously childs of unordered list are your list items, but we want 2 of those. And this number could be 2, 5, 10, whatever. We're going to stick to 2. And then a child within each list, each of the 2 list items that we're making, we're going to put an anchor tag. So we're going to have a link. And then we can close our grouping, and then add a footer to that div, so it won't be within the header. It won't be within the header. It'll be within the div. So it'll be outside that header, and then within the header, we want a child of a paragraph. And then we hit tab. Boom, now you can see we have a div with a header right here. Then outside the header, we have a footer. Okay, let's actually make another there we go. Make another comment so you can see exactly what we just wrote and what got spit out. So we have a div, like I said, then a header, our unordered list, our list items with anchor tags inside. And then we close off our header. And then we got a footer with a paragraph, and then closing div. Pretty nice. I like it. So that was a lot that we just created with just a little bit of thinking and a little bit of code. And we can also add some even more functionality. And you don't even need Emmet. Oh, sorry. Let me change that. You can use Emmet with both HTML, CSS, and they're coming out with even more languages that it's going to be compatible with. So JavaScript, or I think I saw Angular, some other ones. I'm not really sure. You can actually take a look here in the plugin menu. We can type in Emmet and see what we come with. Because Emmet comes already installed on Visual Studio Code. So we have Mithril Emmet, which is for syntax for Mithril, Angular, Elm, and that's just a few right now, but they're coming out with more. As I said, you can use it with CSS, cascading style sheets, and I imagine this is going to keep growing because I find it to be a super beneficial tool. So remember how I said we can create a class with our dot syntax? We can also create an ID with the ID syntax. So we can do ID, ID, right? So, there you go. So we created a div with the ID of ID. Now that's a little bit redundant, but hopefully you're starting to get the point. All right, so say you wanted a class that numbered however many items you wanted in a list, right? So we create a list with the UL, and then we want to have some children of that list, and then we'll give those children a class of item, and then we want to number those items. So we don't want to just item. We want item 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We can do that with the $, and then, like I said, we wanted 5, so we'll put 5 multiplied by 5, and hit tab. So here, let me write that out again. There's the $, and there we go. So we have our unordered list, our list item with the class of item, so you can see right here, and then we use this $, as a wildcard that gives us our numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Because we're multiplying it by 5 here, so that's how many we get. Now once I save this, see we have our list items, nothing in them, but we do list item. Oh, I'm messing that all up. Let's see, list item, there we go. And then we're going to copy it. I know there's faster ways to do that, but there you go. And we see on our right hand side, it's all popped up there. So let me make that a little bigger there so you can see that. And we can also add our own attributes to our tags. So say we can't make a the form attribute. Let's use form. So we're going to type in form and then see what happens after we type in form, right? So we got form and it gives us an action automatically. So we can be like, oh, well, the action I want is do stuff.php or whatever, or do stuff.js, or wherever we want to send the data for the action, right? And then we can just start typing in, our labels and inputs and all that stuff. But we can do so much more with that, right? With all the stuff that we've learned so far. So we have form, and then we know it's going to give us an action already, but say we also want it to give us a method. Well, we can use our square brackets, open, close, and we can just put in method. And then now once I hit tab, It's going to create the method. That didn't work out like intended, so let's try that again. Form method. There we go. Now we have, so you see sometimes just said mistakes are easy to make, and I'm going to keep all this in here. Hopefully you guys are learning what to do and also what not to do. So we got our action, but then on top of that we also got our method. Our action method. And I can tab between these two because Emmet sets that up automatically for us, at least with a lot of things, not necessarily with everything. So let's make that even better, right? So we got there form, action, method, and then we want some children, right? So we want a label, and then we want to give that label a 4. Oh, it automatically does the 4. So now we don't even have to do that. So we have our label. Then we want another child within the label. We want an input, and then you can hit tab. So we have a action, a method, a label, an input of type text, and it doesn't give it a name though. So that's something that you'll want. You want to give it a name. So we can actually reverse this even back and make this even better by using those open and close brackets again and putting a name. So boom, so now we're back to a form, action, method, labels for, input text, and then name. So hopefully you're starting to see, like I said, how amazing this Emmet tool is for creating stuff. It would be pretty nice if it put this out on its own lines and stuff to make this just a little easier to read. But unfortunately it's not doing that, but it does do a lot of stuff for us. And clean that up pretty easily. We can also add in text. Let's say we wanted to make an anchor tag that said click me, right? So we could do a, and we use the curly braces, click me, and then boom, within our anchor tag we have the text click me, and then we could do https:// oh, that thing keeps popping up, it's annoying. Let's make some more space here. .google.com, or whatever we want it to be, right? Can't type here. There we go. All right, and that's really just a short video on Emmet for HTML. Like I said, it also works for CSS, and it gets a little bit deeper. Pretty much what I showed you is all the functionality that it has, but it can make other tags pretty quickly. Let's see here. We wanted a address tag, we can use ADR. If we wanted a strong tag, str. If we wanted a link with RSS, we can do that. It'll link right directly to our RSS feed that we have set up. Meta UTF. Boom, we automatically have that set up. So instead of this one right here, we can create our own. Alright, so hopefully though you guys have learned something. I'm going to come out with the second part of this where we're going to use Emmet to build a page and then we're going to use it to also create the CSS that's going to add some, just a little bit of visual appeal to our web page. So hopefully you guys will watch the second one of that and use what you've learned here to, like I said, build your own little quick snippets to create a full page. Like I said, but I'll be showing you that in another video. All right, so you guys take care. If you like this, if you like what you saw, please like, subscribe, click on the notification icon to get alerted next time I come out with a new video. I'm going to be coming out with at least 1 to 2 videos a week. They're going to be going across different programming tools and styles, and just how things are done or how to do them a little bit better. I'm still learning, but I'm a full stack developer. Been doing this for quite some time now. And also, if you want to help me out, I have a book on HTML that I published on Amazon. It's called the HTML5 Learning and Reference Guide. I'll have a link to that down in the description. But if you want to help me out, you can purchase that for $2.99, super cheap. And there is a lot of value in there. It's over 100 pages long. And all right, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.